Hello everybody, and welcome to a new occasional series on this channel, as I know I don't do very many of these very often. This one innovatively titled Game Ideas. Now, a bit of background. I live in the rural southland of New Zealand, and I live about, it's about 60 kilometers away from the nearest town, so naturally I have a lot of time on my hands. So, in between work and stuff, I just sort of sit and think and come up with all sorts of ideas. And the thing I've been doing a lot of lately is creating ideas for games, like video games. And I figured I may as well share them with you guys, because the internet is a weird and magical place, and I'm sure there's someone out there that would find one of my ideas interesting. So, I thought I'd start off just, as it's the most popular thing on my channel at the moment, with a couple of Warhammer 40k game ideas. And the first one is how I'd want to see Dawn of War 3, because I know there was a talk about it with the website name being taken up lately, and I figured, may as well throw my 2 cents into the, everlasting void and share with you what I personally think Dawn of War 3 should be. You ready? The broadest, basest, base thing I'd want to see would be Dawn of War Dark Crusade with a balanced Titanium Wars mod. That's it. That's the most basic thing I'd want to see out of it. Now that I've thrown that on the table, let me back up a bit. Now, all of us agree, well, in all of my circle of friends, agree that Dark Crusade is the best of the Dawn of Wars, with the expansions. Soulstorm, the Sisters of Battle, even though I do love playing them, are too overpowered, and the Dark Eldar are just not, very fun. And the campaign kind of stumbled quite a bit when it came to implementation and execution. So we all agree Dark Crusade is the best, and I'd want to expand on that, because as much as some people love Dawn of War 2, I don't think it was very good or very fun. The problem with it was, well, I suppose there's a few problems, but the main one I can think of, well, the main ones I can think of, are the fact that they scaled it down, which is, I understand why. They scaled it down to the fact you only command a couple of squads and maybe like a dreadnought or a vehicle, They made the maps and the units smaller. And they did that because they wanted to recreate the fluff a bit more realistically than the original Dawn of War did. And by doing that, they went back to the, books where, a single squad of Space Marines can kill 100 orcs single-handedly, stuff like that. But the problem is, it doesn't really work in terms of gameplay. And when you've got a game like Dawn of War, where you can have like hundreds of guardsman squads all equipped and ready for action, and then you suddenly, in the next game, which they're expecting to be bigger and better, take 90% of that away, it just becomes irritating, and it seems like that they're deleting features instead of adding them. So that was one of the big problems of it. The AI being as, intelligent as a freaking sloth was also, a big part of it. I mean, come on. They didn't even bother attacking your base. All they did was go after the strategic points over and over and over again, creating an endless cycle that wasn't any fun for anybody. So, Dawn of War 2 was a bit of a stumbling block. And hopefully, with Dawn of War 3, they'll go back to the original Dawn of War, which had the big, massive open battles full of hundreds of units, and add Titanium Wars to it, which massively increases the population cap for both weapons, well, for infantry and vehicle. It adds all of the units that they were missing out from the originals. I mean, seriously. Anti-infantry teams, heavy weapons team, mortars, medics, voxcasters, sniper squads, special weapons squads. All of the stuff that's in the fluff and in tabletop that wasn't in the original Dawn of War. So, in the broadest basis terms, I'd want them to go for that. I'd also want them to revive the campaign system from the original, from Dark Crusade as well. Because we all agree that's the most fun. Soulstorm's one, the campaign map actually felt smaller than Dark Crusade. when it's supposed to be taking place over massive, amounts of planets. It's supposed to be taking over an entire system, while Kronos in Dark Crusade, it was only taking over, one planet. But the reason for it being smaller is it felt smaller. It smelt more lifeless. Both two races start on one of the planets. You go by the Webway gates. It wasn't terribly exciting, let's be brutally honest. And Soulstorm lost a lot of the charm of the original. One of my favorite things I adore from Dark Crusade, and this is just a little tiny feature but adds so much character, is the conversations your characters have at the beginning of each battle. So, like, when you assault the Space Marine headquarters as the Imperial Guard, they'll, the Captain Fuel and the Imperial Guard commander will, talk to each other and go, I need to order you to withdraw, da-da-da-da, or if the Chaos is, taking over the Orcs, then the Orcs will go, wah, I'm gonna get you, Spiky. And it just added a lot of character to the combat, and a real sort of moments to it. Like, we all remember the awesome pre-battle speeches done by, Captain Fuel and stuff like that. They're awesome. So, in Soulstorm, they took them out. While they did add Commander Boreal and his, amazing pronunciation of the English language, they took away the pre-conversation dialogues, and it just suffered worse off for it. Right, I've spent most of my time belittling Soulstorm and Dawn of War 2, so let me actually get back onto the original point here. So, yes, as I said before, the broadest basis term is I would want to see a balanced remake of Dark Crusade, and add the Soulstorm races as well, because, I do genuinely love playing as the Sisters of Battle. Just maybe balance them, or implement them a bit better. Possibly, maybe, if you can. Okay, but actually have it balanced. Now, in the original Dark Crusade, I could send this force right here, into this base, and they would have a very good chance of winning. If I sent them now, they would be slaughtered in 5 seconds. The massive increase of units, which is something I love about this game, this mod, is also a hindrance. Because it means you can't actually do any attacks without relying upon super heavies like the Warhound and the Shadow Sword and the Stormblade and the Baneblade. Because, conventional, infantry backed up by a few vehicles get wiped out. So, I think if you could balance it maybe in more favor of the little units, the smaller units, and maybe jack up the price slightly of some of these more heavier units, possibly, it would probably make it a bit more balanced. It would encourage actually people to use infantry and, infantry and artillery more, maybe get a bit of variety in terms of heavy weapons and equipment. It would just generally be a lot more fun to play. Not that this game isn't fun now, but the fact when you lose 90% of your army to one asshole's Chaos Land Raider does piss you off slightly. So, yeah, that's the broadest basis terms. Just have Dark Crusade with the Titanium Wars mod that's actually balanced, and implement the races a bit better. That's realistically it. And for the campaign, maybe make it over one map, one planet again, like Medusa 5, the World Campaign, or Kronos. Just make it that same setup but over one map, and bring back the charm and life to it. Seriously, bring it back. I'd love to see the commanders talk to each other at the beginning of the pre-game mission. The Sisters of Battle Canoness, belittling the Imperial Guard commander for not being loyal to the Emperor enough. The Space Marine commander saying, oh, I'm sorry, I can't do that because I can't withdraw because I have orders from the Chapter Master himself. Have the Orc player threaten to, get and gut out all the enemies. Stuff like that. I mean, that would be great. So, we'll see. I don't know. I don't know if they actually are going to make a Dawn of War 3, if they are just taking out the name just for the fun of it. But I would really like them to actually take a few things on board from the previous games, rather than maybe just, you know, doing whatever they want and making the maps even smaller, and the units less variety in units, because fuck you, got mine. Oh yeah, and look at this, seriously, come on. Dawn of War 2 had the small tiny battles. Look at this, this is a massive huge brawl. Look at it, laser guns going off, melter guns, Thunderhawk gunships, orc units, assault marines, look, kill death animation, vehicles going off, guardsmen just flooding flooding the openings. It's awesome. I mean, it's great. Why would anyone want to go smaller when you've got this? Oh, Shadow Sword Titan Destroyer. Hell yeah. Okay. Right, sorry, I'm getting distracted by the game. We need to get back to the issue at hand. So yeah, I mean, encourage these massive battles. Don't criticize or stop players from having them. I mean, everybody agrees that the Dawn of War 2 is not the best of the series. I mean, partly because, you know, they've forgotten what made the original Dawn of War great, and partly because they tried so desperately to rip off Company of Heroes, which I don't know or care if you agree or disagree, but in my opinion they did. They ripped off the cover system, they ripped off the smaller style for units, and it didn't work. Because what made Company of Heroes, a game which I own and I play a lot of, really good, was the fact that it was historical. I mean, the unit, they did, you know, rifle squads only had, you know, a few members, and a single squad's act of bravery or a single tank at the right position could break the line. But in a game like this, which, you know, the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war, which the entire fluff revolves around having hundreds of thousands of guardsmen on a single planet, you know, suddenly going back to having, you know, just, you know, one or two squads, it is just a massive lack of self-awareness, really. But, you know, the future will tell. We'll see what happens. I mean, it could be exactly like I'm saying. It could be even better. Who knows? So yeah, this was just a little pilot video to see if you guys like this idea. If you do, let me know, because I have shit tons of game ideas I've come up with. Some really intelligent, some just completely retarded. But you know, hey, that's the part of the world. And if you are a game designer and you want to use any of the ideas in these videos, go ahead. I don't care. Don't even need to credit me. Just go ahead. As long as you can make games slightly better for everyone else, then it's all good. Okay. Now, yeah, let me know in the comments below if you think anything I've said in this video is a good idea, or if you have your own opinions on how to make Dawn of War 3, or if you think I should eat a plate full of owl droppings, let me know. So yeah, I'm going to finish this battle, but until then, thank you very much for watching and listening to my idea. If you have any more, please let me know, and I'll see you all again another time.